Hey there and happy Friday. It is November 1st. Holy smokes, where did this year go? November 1st. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but if you're anything like me, you guys had a little bit of chocolate last night. So I hope you're waking up from your candy coma that you inflicted on yourself last night, and hope you had a happy and safe Halloween last night. I know this time of year is kind of amazing here living in Michigan. The weather's changing, the leaves are falling. It's always a really great time of year, and it's right before everything goes to stuff in a handbasket and we get snow. Ugh. I want to go back to Florida this time of year. I think I'm going to work that back out again. But anyway, so with that said, happy Halloween to everybody. Happy November 1. Let's kick off today with a really quick market minute. Something you guys need to know about what's going on in the real estate market is how many houses are being built. Okay, so up till now, we're looking at 617,000 new home starts and new home sales for this year, which is pretty cool because that means there's a good number of new homes that are being sold in the last 12 months. And you might say, well, Russ, 617, that's not a whole lot. Well, here's the other part of this equation in this number, which is housing starts. So we have 1.2 million housing starts. You may say, well, wait a minute, aren't they the same thing? Well, actually, they're not really, because new home sales is one thing, but then you got housing starts. Well, this includes condos, and this includes townhouses, this includes apartments, this includes everything that somebody can live in would be under housing starts. So the good news is housing starts is up a little bit because we've had a couple slower years of housing starts. And now the piece of the information you need to know what's really going on in the market is new households created. So in the last year, how many new households were created? In the last year, 2.1 million new households created. So you might be saying, well, Russ, if you got 2.1 new million households created, that means you need 2.1 new places to keep people, right? But we only have 1.2 million new housing starts. And that's where the rub comes in the real estate market. So a lot of people are talking about inventory going up. The problem is we're continuing to go into debt with how many houses and places to live are being built and how many new households are being created. So just in the last year, we are in the negative about 700,000 homes, places to live based on the year before. So when you add up the past couple of years with housing shortages, we're still continuing to add on to the housing shortage. So in order for us to have more houses than we need, this number would have to be 2.1 or higher just to stay even for the year. And it's actually in the hole in the negative again. So what's happening is we're going to continue to have low inventories. We're going to continue to have slower home sales because there's just not that many places for people to go. So in our market here, if you put a house on the market, just last week, sister-in-law got a property, buyer wanted to buy on the property. They ended up $50,000 over asking price and still didn't get the house. This is 2 weeks ago, mid-October outside Detroit, Michigan. So there are some pockets in the country that are still really hot. And this nationally is going to say we're going to continue to be in a similar thing that we were last year and the year before. So for right now, looks like with the way these numbers roll, we're probably going to have something very similar happen next year, barring something catastrophic happening. We're going to have a very similar year next year to this year. So making sure you're making the plans accordingly and making sure you're making the adjustments. Hopefully those of you that showed up at EXPCon last week got a bunch of really great stuff that you can add into your business to help offset what's going on in the market today. Just keep in mind, you don't have to have all the sales. You just need the sales that you need to take your business to the next level. Knowing this information will help you out in the long run. There's our market minute for this week on November 1st. And next coming up, we've got Brian Ellington. He's going to be talking about university update and what's going on in the university with the University Spotlight. And then he's going to be kicking it straight over into a conversation with Tina Caul and Minda, talking about business, talking about real estate and how to take your business to the next level. Brian, take it away, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, before we get into today's guests, just a few quick things from the university. Coming up on Tuesday is Kickstart. Now, this round is only going to be 5 sessions, so make sure you tune in for that. Also, coming up on Wednesday is the kickoff for FastCap. Those of you who registered for FastCap, we're doing the kickoff session on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to be there to start that program. And also on Thursday, the Exec Masterclass. Now, this coming week, we have Susan McLean, our VP of Growth and Agent Success, is going to be talking about mindset, how to improve and change your mindset. It's going to be a really cool session. I'm really looking forward to that. Then on Friday of next week, we've got our friend Dan Beer, who's going to come in, and Dan and one of his business partners entered into this whole e-marketing contest thing and learned just a ton about e-marketing success. And they actually got high up there in that contest. And he's going to come and share some of the things that they learned along the way. So if you're really looking to improve your results from your email marketing, do tune in for that session as well. Today's guests, though, are two of my favorites. We've got Tina Caul and Minda from the Caul group in the Research Triangle Parkway. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. So the two of these ladies have agreed to do an amazing coaching program called Buyer Mastery for EXP agents. And I asked them to come on and share some of the tips and strategies that they're teaching in that program to the folks tuning in at home. So Tina and Minda, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Always. Now, for those of you that may not know Tina and Minda, do you guys want to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about the Caul group so people understand just what we're talking about here when we talk about the productivity of you two?
Sure. So, of course, I'm Tina Caul, and I've been in the business for 24 years. I started as a solo agent, so probably 60% of my business, 65% was listings, but the rest were buyers. I got up to selling about 130 homes a year, and then the wheels fell off, and I needed to start a team, and I needed leverage. And so here we are today. We have 43 agents on our team. Last year, we sold 600 buyer sides. And Minda, I'll let her introduce herself, but she is our top buyer agent on our team.
Yes, so I'm honored to be here, and I got the opportunity to meet Tina about 5 years ago. I've only been in the business a little over 5 years. And when I started with Tina, the majority of all my clients that I worked with were buyers. And by the third year of working with Tina and picking up all her tips and tricks, I was one of the top producers on the team. And I think in 3 years hit over 50 deals and close to 40 million in volume. So she really just changed the trajectory of my business.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've helped change the trajectory of hers too. 600 buyer deals last year. Holy cow. Well, so let's start kind of from the beginning of the relationship with a buyer. What's the one lead generation source that you use on the team that brings you the most amount of buyers?
So for us, there's multiple different strategies, because I'm not one for just sticking to one thing. I think on our team, we're a big open house team as well. We have a lot of listings. So we did 250 sides last year on listing sides. So we're big on going all in with signage and really trying to build those relationships, especially now as agents are running around, as buyers are running around and looking for agents or not wanting to sign with agents. Open houses have become big. We also have Zillow on our team. So we work closely with Zillow, and we have a lot of those buyer opportunities. They get 250 million eyeballs a month. So it's a big source for us.
Yeah. And, it's interesting when you talk about lead generation, for most people at your level, that's not the challenge, right? And by the way, I wanted to say too, you said open houses is a big source. And I'm betting that there's some agents at home who are thinking, well, that's great once I get a listing.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of a phone call to an EXP agent and even a non-EXP agent offering to sit their opens for them. A lot of their sellers have that expectation, but a lot of agents just don't like sitting opens because they don't do it effectively or whatever reason. And so that is an opportunity to reach out, make connections. Plus, you're building relationships with other agents in your market too, which is always a good thing when it comes to negotiations and offers. But back to what I was saying there with lead conversion, that really is most people's struggle, right? It's not generating the lead, it's converting the lead. So when you think about that first conversation with a buyer, what is it that has enabled you to be so successful at translating that into an appointment?
Well, I definitely think that a huge miss is not showing your value and connecting with them. You have a short amount of time to find what it is that you can connect with them right away. And if you don't, you're going to miss that opportunity. So finding that one thing that you can connect with them is just really a shoo-in with the buyers.
Yeah. It's more like you want to think about it as I'm going into listening mode. I'm really, I want to find out what's important to them most importantly, because if they don't think they have a problem, then I can't solve it. So again, they have to have a little bit of that motivation, but we really have to go into consultative approaches, setting expectations up front. And Minda is so real. I mean, she's so good at leading them, like just setting up those expectations and leading them up front. And I think they feel cared for after they meet with her, and they're more excited to work with her. Many times they're like, okay, you're my agent, right? Which is great.
They do. I know that I'm asking the right questions, and I know that I am connecting with them when they're coming to me saying, we're ready to get started with you. So
cool. Is there a line of questioning that you find that kind of opens them up most in those early conversations?
I do. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what are you looking to accomplish with this next move? I think sometimes we just get kind of tangled in the weeds at, how many bedrooms, how many bath, and we miss something big. I can share something kind of fun with you, Brian. I had a client that was interviewing 3 agents in person, and then 3 taking those same agents and taking them out to the field to show homes. And the big thing that he told me right away was schools were very important. And I said, oh, is there a particular school that you're looking for? And he said, yes, there's this school that we're trying to get my daughter into. Do you have any connections? And I said, I absolutely do. If we work together, I will connect you, and maybe we can help. And funny, last weekend at a past client event, he ended up choosing to work with me, and I connected him with a past client, and he did get his daughter into the school. So if I would have missed that opportunity and asking about bed and bath, I would have missed his big motivation with the school system that he was coming and trying to get into.
I suppose that's not just a factor of your curiosity and your willingness to kind of listen to them, which a lot of times we don't, right? Somebody calls us and says, I want to see this house. I mean, we're jumping at that opportunity, sometimes to our detriment, without first slowing down and asking the questions behind the questions. The other thing too is I'm betting that you are deeply involved in the communities around the areas that you work, and that's probably why you had those connections, which is, I think, motivation for us to be more involved in the geographic areas that we really work in all aspects, not just real estate sales.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up real quick, Brian, because it's like when I was out, showing buyers, I always told them stories about the agents that live in the communities that they're looking in, myself included. They really, took it as value to say, oh, I live here too. This is my town. Here's my neighborhood. So I think that's really important. Obviously, you can sell everywhere, but especially in your own little, part of the world that you live in, it's just really great to feel like you're inviting a new neighbor into your community.
Yeah, and it gives you the heads up, the leg up, I should say, of understanding what's going on in that area too.
Exactly.
So when we finally set the buyer consultation, what, in your opinion, is the biggest factor of success in converting that consultation into a working client? How do you demonstrate your value? You mentioned that earlier. How do you do that to your potential client during that consultation?
I think just piggybacking on what Tina said just now is, first of all, letting them know that you have the expertise, you're the expert in that area. And that is something that as a new agent, I think sometimes we try to handle everything, and then we're not the expert in one area. So for me, that was something that Tina really kind of instilled was find your niche, find something where you can show that value. So I think on that call, I want to make sure that they do know that I'm the local expert. I can share market knowledge. I can share things, that they may need personally outside of the home, whether that's, doctors, hair appointments, things that, are important in their everyday lifestyle. But aside from making that connection, the other thing that I think that I do differently is no matter how many homes that they have bought or sold, there's always some value that I can bring. And for our area, we've got a couple of things in North Carolina that are very different. So I've been working with, clients that come from other states. And when I let them know, hey, this, no matter how many homes you bought, our state is different. And here, let me share why. I can see the light bulb go off. They're like, oh, we need Minda. So I don't want to scare them, but I give them just enough information to let them know you're going to need someone to guide you through this process. Whether you've bought 10 homes before or none, you need someone that is an expert.
When you and I were talking, I love this point. In fact, I loved how you phrased it when you said it to me a few weeks ago. You said, I want to take them deep enough into the woods that they know they need me to get out. And
Right.
I absolutely love that. And that is such a great visual image. And you'd mentioned about that form. Joe Carter had actually mentioned it to me too. I think it's like your form 520 or something along that lines, and asking them, what do you know about this? Or however you phrase it, to get them to kind of self-discover, oh, I don't know as much as I think I do. And this lady sounds like she knows exactly what she's talking about. I think that's a great strategy. When you're talking about your value proposition, I know you guys go in depth on this in your coaching program. Is there an element of your value proposition that you feel like most agents don't really think about as a value to convey to that buyer client? Oh, Tina, you're on mute.
I think for me personally, a lot of agents are going to say the same things. I think they're all looking for this magic answer of like, what do you say? Can I say it the same way? It's really how you present. It's all about setting expectations, walking them through the process, looking sharp, feeling comfortable. Your presentation starts the moment you meet them. And I've drilled it into their heads that buyers are no different than listings. I have a listing presentation. I get excited, motivated. I ask them questions. I show up. I'm ready to present. It's the same thing with buyers. And I think what I notice in the markets and the agents that we coach, they end up being more door openers, and they let the clients lead them versus them leading the clients. And I think it's more about building connection, building trust. Hey, we have a love it or leave it guarantee. You're never going to be stuck in a home. Don't worry. If you buy something, I'll tell them a story of how we did sell a home before and that person moved out and we got them into the right home if needed, but they're never stuck. The other thing that I think I forgot that I used to do is connect people, especially we're a big relocation market. We have a lot of people from the West Coast coming in, and I would connect them with people that live in the communities that they're looking in. So I remember Lynn Fitzgerald, I connected her with another gal that lived in a neighborhood she was thinking about. And that's a great testimonial too, to say, I live here. I love it. I was in your shoes 2 years ago and everything's wonderful. So I think for me, it's leading. That's the big one.
Our friend Rene Rodriguez, he gives the analogy that the same piece of chicken can be $1.99 on the KFC menu or $150 on a 5-star restaurant menu, and the difference is the story behind it. And it's absolutely right. You don't have to have the world's most unique buyer value proposition where you're giving buyers a Ferrari for buying with you. Right. You have to be able to talk about your value proposition in a compelling way. And I think that's one of the things I like most about your program is how you guys approach that. Yeah. Interesting too. So team leader, lead buyer specialist on the team. When you think about team leaders who are bringing on board a buyer specialist, and Minda, I know you did the session at EXPCon for crushing it as a buyer specialist on a team. Any advice for team leaders who are bringing somebody into their team to take on the buy side of the business for them?
I mean, for me personally, Brian, it's so important that you have the same sort of personalities, values. Like Minda and I are very similar. We're very to the point. We love, working with our clients, but we're not going to be taken advantage of. So we're not weak. Minda is very detailed, organized. She likes things a certain way. So do I. So I think when you find people that you mesh with, that you can be upfront with, you're going to find that there's not a lot of issues. Laura Payne is my first partner 11 years ago. We're still together today. We laugh, we joke, we take life not so seriously, but she's also great with people and loves helping people. So I think that's it. Like you have to say, I like hanging out with these people, even outside of work, not just, hey, you're breathing, here's my buyers, now go sell them. Because you'll find that people come and go from teams all the time, because usually they either don't get along with the team leader, or they don't find that the values are in line with them. And I think it's important to find that person that you jive with. What about you, Minda?
Well, I was just going to say, being on the other side and not on the hiring side, the culture is just so important. I mean, I think Tina would attest to this. I mean, if she had to choose somebody that's going to be, selling and a top producer, but they don't mesh with our culture, I mean, I think she'd rather pick somebody that she can, teach to sell that many homes, but that fits within our culture. So we want that feeling, like you said, a feeling of family, somebody that's going to be a team player. Nobody wants somebody that's going to come in and just, be in it for themselves. So I know that's really big for us at Caul Group.
My experience with teams is that oftentimes we hire out of desperation. And by the time we find a person to come on board, we take that proverbial stack of work and go, ka-thunk, good luck. And we'll walk away going, don't have to deal with that anymore. And what we don't do is have a great onboarding process to teach that new buyer specialist all the things that's up here that we've gained from our experiences and things of that nature. Having a program like yours, I think, would be a big help to a lot of team leaders as they're bringing people on. When we talk about this coaching program, I'm curious because, I mean, it's 6 weeks long, right? And you go in depth on all of these topics and more. What's the one thing you're looking forward to most? What's the one thing that you're excited most about sharing with people in the program?
I know for me, personally, I love just the opportunity to dive in and show people how to position themselves as the go-to expert. But what I really learn from is live examples and or role plays with real people. And so I'm excited that they're going to see a couple presentations that Minda has done and recorded with permission from her clients. They're going to see her walk through the same presentation that we're trying to teach with real people. And we're not just theorists and saying, this is what we do. We're going to show them this is how we do it, and look at how the buyer reacted. And we're going to watch the tape, just like a football team. What did Minda do great? What could Minda have done better? She's always open to feedback. Did you see how she did that there? So I think it's important to just not tell people, but show people.
I love that.
What about you, Minda?
I am, this is kind of near and dear to my heart, but I am excited about, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset. And this is a piece that I think sometimes we can give you the playbook, we can give you everything you need, but if you don't have that right mindset, you're not going to have the same success. So we are going to dive into that. And that has been a game changer in my business. So I'm always excited to talk about that topic.
It's funny. My team and I are reading the 4 agreements, and the author in a certain part of it talks about you can have the exact same experience with a different mindset, and it's going to be a completely different outcome for you, right? And we've all had it, those days where we wake up in a mood, and then it just seems like everything else goes wrong. And why is that? The mood that you're in, right? So I do love that. And yes, I'm really looking forward to the live bullets demonstration. We used to watch Friday night fights on ESPN back in the day when I boxed. And we had one of the TiVo. That's how old again I am. And we wore that thing out, just rewinding and watching just the kind of mastery of footwork and the hand movement and things like that, just the little finer details. And I suspect people are going to wear out their computers rewatching your recordings of your buyer consultation as well. All right. So really quickly, you have a few things upcoming for everybody. So on November 12th, you all are doing another Instagram Live with us, and that's 12:30 p.m. Central Time on November 12th. And then, of course, on November 14th, your program starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, and you guys will go for 6 weeks. And I think you've engineered Thanksgiving week to make sure people are able to enjoy their turkey and will still get the session in. They can go to expelevatecoaching.com to register. And please do, because that session is amazing. I'm really looking forward to you guys doing it, and thank you so much for doing it for us. All right, and by the way, thanks for being here today to do this with us. We really appreciate you sharing your hard-won wisdom with us.
No, you are so welcome. We're excited to do it. So go ahead, register, come see us. We're gonna have some fun for 6 weeks.
We are.
All right, I can't wait. All right, thank you both. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. What a great conversation. I absolutely love Tina Caul and her husband, Kevin. Fantastic people. Great job, Minda, adding to this flavor and adding to the story. You've got things you can actually put in your business and take to your business and make them live right now. So thank you, ladies, for everything you do. Thanks for contributing today. Thanks for contributing every day of the year with working with EXP. We appreciate you both immensely. So there is our show for the today. You guys might be saying, hey, it's a little bit short today, Russ. Yes, it is, because we've got pretty much everybody in the leadership traveling around the country right now. So we're just going to shorten this down a little bit today, give you a little bit of your time back. So that is it for the rest of the day today. The last thing we've got left is the NPS survey. If you could open up your cameras, give us a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. If we did a good job, give us a 10. If there's something we can improve, give us a rating and let us know what we can improve. We look at these things every single Monday to make sure we're bringing to you guys the best show that we can. Normally at this point, I would tell you it's time to wait for iConversations coming up next, but they've canceled for the week because, again, all of them are all traveling too, and most of them were at EXPCon all week. And quite frankly, we're tired. We need a break today. So everybody's kind of going to take the rest of the day off. So enjoy the rest of the day today. Kick off your November well. Remember, the things that you're doing right now in your real estate business are going to be paying you in January, February, and March. So do not put it on cruise control. Right now, 50% of the agents in the month of November are going to stop working for the rest of the year. If you guys keep your head down, keep working, this is a time to steal market share. Position yourself for a better 2025. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys coming up next week. Have a good one.